Nestle former CEO says humans do not have the right to water and water should be privatized and controlled. Now, I'm also going to read to you what the United Nations has to say about what the Nestle CEO said. But this is a very serious idea. I mean, we already pay for our water. Now, as you no doubt are aware, the global elite making moves to have people own nothing, be happy. This is according to the Great Reset, WEF, and Klaus Schwab ideas. The world to be controlled by an authoritarian one world government, and humanity, according to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, will be enslaved in a totalitarian system featuring mass surveillance, mandatory everything, and desperate servitude. Now, making matters even worse, though, the global elite boasting about their plans for humanity in advance, and their WEF video having to do with no rights to water. It wouldn't be so sad, but if the WEF was not so influential, in 2017, Klaus Schwab openly bragged about his organization's ability to infiltrate governments across the globe. At the Harvard Kennedy School's Institute of Politics, he discussed how the WEF's modus operandi is to penetrate governments by installing its young global leaders. In recent years, we've seen this modus operandi play out. The WEF infiltrated governments across the world and firmly under their control, taking various nations. Make no mistake, these young global leaders, including Emmanuel Macron, who's supposedly now lost, allowing Marine Le Pen to enter the French government, Justin Trudeau of Canada, Jacinda Ardern, and are working fervently to control the agenda of these global elite. But now in a stunning video, the surface in which Nestle CEO Peter Brabeck-Letmathe claims that water is not a human right and must be privatized and controlled by the elites. Brabeck-Letmathe, now chairman of one of the biggest corporations in the largest food-producing manufacturer in the world, believes corporations should own all the water on the planet and no one should be allowed to have access to it unless they pay. At a time when inflation has gone double-digit, food production plants burning down, supply chain is in crisis, food shortages are on the horizon, and we now understand that elites want to seize the control of the world's water. So is water a free and basic human right, or should all the water on the planet belong to major corporations and the elite? And should the poor, for example, third world countries who can't afford to pay these said corporations, suffer from starvation due to their lack of financial wealth? That's the future of humanity according to global elites, according to Baxter Dimitri News Punch. Now, what does the UN say? The UNECE, and I'll leave a link for you. Nestle CEO, water is not a human right, should be privatized. This was back from about 9 years ago. Is water a free and basic human right, or should all the water on the planet belong to major corporations and be treated as a product? Should the poor who cannot afford to pay these said corporations suffer from starvation due to their lack of financial wealth? I mean, what about the neighborhoods in third world countries that dig a pit to find water from a well? They have to go and find the nearest corporation and start paying them. What is going on here? According to the former CEO and now chairman of the largest food-producing manufacturer in the world, corporations should own every drop of water on the planet, and you're not getting any unless you pay up. This is an article on UN, United Nations, UNECE, and I'll leave a link below for you for this. The company, notorious for sending out hordes of internet warriors to defend the company and its actions online in comments and message boards, perhaps we'll find some below, even takes a firm stance behind Monsanto's GMO and their proven safety. In fact, the former Nestle CEO actually says that his idea of water privatization is very similar to Monsanto's GMOs. And in a video, Nestle chairman Peter Brabeck-Letmathe states there has never been one illness ever caused from the consumption of GMOs. Now, the way in which this sociopath clearly has zero regard for the human race outside of his own wealth and development of Nestle, who's been caught funding attacks against GMO labeling, can be witnessed when watched and listened to his talk on the issue the company that actually goes into struggling rural areas and extracts the groundwater for their bottled water products, completely destroying the water supply of the area without any compensation. In fact, they actually make rural areas in the United States foot the bill. As reported on the Corporate Watch, Nestle and former CEO Peter Brabeck-Lamath have a long history of disregarding public health and abusing the environment to take part in their profit of an astounding $35 billion in annual profit from water bottle sales alone. The report states, Nestle production of mineral water involves the abuse of vulnerable water resources. In the Serra de Mantiqueira region of Brazil, home to the Circuit of Waters Park, whose groundwater has a high mineral content and medicinal properties, overpumping has resulted in depletion and long-term damage. Nestle has also come under the fire over the assertion that they are actually conducting business with massive slavery rings and other corporate watch entry details. And so, is water a human right, or should it be owned by big corporations? Well, if water is not here for all of us, then perhaps air should be owned by major corporations as well. And as for crops, Monsanto is already working hard to make sure that their monopoly on our staple crops and beyond is well situated. It should really come as no surprise that this Nestle chairman fights to keep Monsanto's GMO alive and well in the food supply, as his ideology lines up right with that of Monsanto. And I'll leave a link below for you for this. This is from UNECE. Okay? I'll leave links below for you for this. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.